Hey, it's Muffin. You've probably noticed the last couple vids I haven't done my normal intro like I normally do with the music and the logo. I've got to figure something out. YouTube has been a little stingy on the music or something I use for my intros, and basically penalizing me for music copyright claim. So I need to kind of figure something out for my intros. But in the meantime, we're not going to stop the videos from coming. We had a subscriber request. Thank you guys. You guys all have excellent ideas. You guys are the ones that help make this channel what it is. And shout out to the subs who helped join the rooms. You guys are amazing. If you want to help, join the Discord, get the movie crew roll. Everyone is more than welcome to help. And then huge shout out to Garion. I was not able to do this yesterday, kind of on a time crunch. Actually did a lot with trying to work on episode 23, which may be done here and released for a showing either tonight or tomorrow. So real soon, we'll see. But he had helped host and helped edit, put together the replay. So thank you so much, Garion. You guys are awesome. So this one, for this subscriber request, we've done Derp versus DPM, AutoREloader versus, I think, AutoREloader, really putting the different types of like cannon types of tanks in the game against each other to see if you had a 7 of one type versus 7 of another type, who would win, what would the outcome be. We're going to do best out of 3 for now this subscriber request, which is DPM versus AutoREloader. So for those that may be newer to the game, DPM, damage per minute, are tanks that can deal very high amounts of damage in short amounts of time. They don't necessarily have to be derpy. There are some tanks that per shot don't do a lot of damage, like the AT-15, but you stand in front of it long enough and it will delete you quite quickly because of how fast it shoots, equaling up to a very high damage per minute. AutoREloaders, a little bit different. DPM tanks, or those that have the highest DPM, are typically just standard shooting cannons. Like you have the Yag Tiger, very high DPM tank. The SU, a tier 9 Russian destroyer, the Grill. So there are tanks that have very high DPMs. AutoREloaders will work off of the mechanism of always reloading in a like a 3 shell or 2 shell, whatever it may be, capacity, and after shooting a shell will reload. But depending on what shell you're on in reloading will have an effect on how long it'll take to load that shell. So the first shell will take longer to reload sometimes than the second shell, or compared to the third shell. So they have slightly different times. Now, does that change how you play? Well, with a standard autoloader, yes, because you have to be pretty careful in terms of once you clip out an enemy, you don't have the ability to fire at all until you're completely reloaded. That sometimes can take a long time, and if you're not careful or don't have cover when clipping out an enemy, then then you yourself can get yourself in a pretty bad position. Whereas DPM tanks typically are really constant, fast firing, basically having a shell ready pretty soon. The autoloader is great with being able to shoot maybe a second or two later, be able to shoot again. Very fast reloading, but having to reload, the whole thing is really slow. I'm probably telling you guys things you already know. But then the auto reloader is a little different because you don't have to rely on that as much. And the time interval between shells when you're the enemy is very hard to tell, you know, what reload you might be on. So you don't have to rely as much on cover after clipping out an enemy when you're an auto reloader. Ooh, good bounce there. Trying to use that cover as much as possible. Yeah, Mill, great tank. I believe it doesn't have the greatest DPM. Excellent turret. Turning it over to the side does expose the weakness. Was in a pretty bad position getting sandwiched here. Action X definitely having great DPM there. Okay, well,
let's get this show on the road.
And we're going into the last round here. Now, really, anyone that knows how to play a certain type of tank can be really good. You can be pretty lethal. There are some tanks in the game that are just simply bad or much harder to play, I would say. But for the most part, if you know how to play the tank to its strengths, you really can do well in them. Especially with some of these DPM tanks. Like the AT-15, if you can really keep the enemy in an exposed position and being able to unload your rounds in them, you can delete them quite fast. It puts the enemy in a bad position, and you're using that AT-15's strength, the most. Whereas like a enemy, you don't want to be put right in front of like a very high DPM tank or like an AT-15. All right, so we got tanks just peeking over. Really smart, coming up on the back side of these tanks using this ridge line, which is great for them, those mills with that gun depression, those really strong turrets. These guys coming around the backside, putting them in a pretty bad position. And you can just see with this Jagdtiger's reload, this 88, and just how bad of a position it can put some of these tanks, just draining their hit points. Playing pretty smart here, trying to stay against the edge, but now things not looking too good here. All right. So AutoREloader wins that one. So hope this vid was fun. Keep the requests coming. This is the Muffin. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.